Do you want to know how to track and share your CPD quickly and effectively? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how in this video by EGP Learning, saving yours and your patients' time by tech enhancing your primary care and learning. If this is the first time we're meeting, I'm Dr. Gandalf of EGP Learning, where I look at supporting you with technology-enhanced primary care and learning. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the Wakelet tool, which you can use to track and share your CPD, so your continuous professional development, to make appraisal and revalidation an absolute doddle. If you like this video, please make sure you give us a like, subscribe definitely, and ring that bell to make sure you're first to get all of our content, and give me a comment. I'd love to know what you guys think of this. Shall we begin? Hi EGP learners, so in this episode I'm going to show you Wakelet, which I feel is a really effective resource at recording as well as sharing your own CPD, so that's your continuous professional development, in terms of making your appraisal and revalidation an absolute doddle. So I'm going to show you how to use this. This is the website when you try to log in, and effectively, as it says, everything is in one place. Wakelet is designed to create effectively community-based feeds or communications. They used to call them wakes, but I think they've changed the name now. And effectively, it lets you bookmark anything you come across on the internet, whether it's a website, videos, tweets even. You can do this direct through the website and create them into kind of feeds that you can then use. Or you can also use other kind of methods, like for example, extensions within the browser, particularly based on Chrome, Firefox and Safari. Doesn't have one for Internet Explorer, I'm afraid. Bit of a frustration, particularly given our issues with practice and stuff. But if you wanted to, you can also use their app, and they have one for both Android and for Apple App Store and stuff. There's a good community behind it that shares information, and you can actually import feeds from other people. Kind of how Twitter works in a sense. So if you know how to use Twitter, it works really well. And the best thing about this is it's completely free. Don't have to pay anything. But what does it look like when you start using it? Well, this is my feed that any of you are welcome to look at. So this is the EGP Learning Wakelet feed, and effectively it shows you the branding, but also it then has a feed of all the information I put out, and I've been keeping this current for the past few weeks. So you can see it's got YouTube videos from our recent How to Get Your CCT video, including websites and interesting things I've come across that you may want to read, and some of the tweets that I've been putting out, particularly like this one about creating a website, about having a website that makes your password safer and things. When you log in, it looks slightly different. So once you've gone through the registration process, this is effectively what you're left with, which is your home page. And from this, you can create various different collections that you can then use. So as you can see, I've got two. I've got my own personal one for my appraisal, and then I've got the public one that I've got, which is the EGP Learning one. So I'm going to walk you through how to create your own collection. Click on the collection button, and when you go to it, the first thing it asks you to do is to create your own kind of feed effectively. It does ask you to put a cover image, and I would recommend doing this. The reason being that simply it then helps distinguish your own feeds, and you'll see why this is useful in a short while. But for example, you can choose from a library or upload your own. So I'm going to create a generic feed here for you guys. Let's go with a nice little sunset, shall we? And then effectively you just need to give it a name. So let's call this Learning Log, and a description if you want to. Learning Log for EGP Learning. There we go. So what do you do then? Well, effectively you need to import feeds into it, and you click on the plus and it gives you a variety of options you can do. You can copy in websites, so for example if there's something you come across, you can add text, you can add YouTube videos directly, and tweets, bookmarks, images, PDFs, and also things from Google Drive. So if we were to try the paste your URL, well, what if I wanted to go to this BMJ article, interestingly about using influencers in terms of the medical field and how this can have an impact. It particularly talks about Kim Kardashian if you're interested in that kind of thing. But I'm just going to copy the web link and then go back to my feed, paste it in. And for those that can see, it's now imported this into my feed, and then that's easily viewable, and you can use it however you want effectively to keep track. If I wanted to add my own reflections or some text along with that, I can do that, or even if I just want to create a text note. So, great article on influencers' impact in medicine. As you can see, I can't do without a spell checker. Actually, spelled it right. There you go. And then you can save it, and you can create headings and other kind of things from there if you want to, and then that links up with that. Alternately, you can add YouTube videos, as I said earlier. So, for example, if you wanted to add in the fact that you want to learn how to do please, and you've gone off and looked at a video, you can add one in, and that imports into your feed, and you can even watch it from there if you need to. Alternately, you can add tweets. So you can search for tweets either by hashtag. So a recent hashtag that's obviously been going on is, where are we? Hashtag PCN. And it will then search through Twitter for the most recent kind of things around PCN. So we've got stuff from the General Practice Awards, Dr. Claire Maurice Thomas, who's talking at the BMA conference tomorrow that I'll be attending, various things. It does search the most recent stuff, and if, for example, if you're going to go to users, so for example, if I wanted to look at Dr. Gandalf 52, there it searches for the individual person, and it only goes through the past 2 weeks and stuff, and you can add a tweet from there. So I can import my one from my practice one that I've retweeted, and then that brings in the tweet from there as well. Alternately, you can add bookmarks from websites, images, PDFs, as I said. So particularly if you look at learning that you're doing in practice. So for example, if you have a new LFT pathway, that you may want to add the PDF from that. Or if you store these kind of things on Google Drive, you can import directly from your Google Drive account once you've linked that up. You can reorder them if you feel that's needed. And there's an easy way of doing that to shrink the articles down to make it more manageable. And effectively, this creates your own personal feed that you can then use however you want. The various different settings you can have it as private so that only you can see that, and that would be great for your own individual learning. You can put it as unlisted, and when you do that, effectively what that means is you can share it with other people, but it's not public for everyone to see. This would be great for networks and for groups of people, for example, post VTS, first 5, that kind of thing, that want to share the learning they come across, or within your own practice, if you want to share a practice-based learning account. Great way of creating that you can all collate your information into and then share that in practice meetings, for example. Alternately, you can create a public feed that you can then put out, so particularly for organisations like federations, for CCGs, for networks as they come across, this would be a great way of sharing things. And then effectively, you save. And then that creates the feed that you can then use as and how you choose to. In terms of collating this information though, one particular thing that will be really useful to do is to use the extensions that allow you to go to any website and add the information in. So I showed you earlier this website from the BMJ. I can click on the Wakelet extension that those of you watching this can see, top right corner of my Google Chrome browser, and when I do that, it then asks me if I want to add this information to my feeds. And I mentioned earlier why it's important to have a kind of image at the top, because this helps you recognize which one is the more pertinent one for yourself quicker and more effectively. So I can add this one to my learning log. I know it's already there, but this is just a demonstration purpose. And then it will add that to your learning log feed. So if I refresh that, you'll now all see that that's been added to the top of my feed, and effectively easy to use again. Perfect. One extra little thing, if you wanted to add this into your appraisal, it's dead easy to do so. You can either copy in the link, so it does create a shareable link for you, as you can see here by clicking the share icon, and you can share that either Facebook, Twitter, various other mediums, or it gives you a link. Alternately, if you go to the settings part, you can actually export it into a PDF that you can then upload if you prefer to do it that way. And then obviously you can reference that to your appraiser, put your reflections in there in terms of the reading that you have done. It's a great way of tracking the stuff you come across naturally, and particularly in terms of internet searches and stuff. I mentioned the extension through the browser. That's exactly the same way that would work through your mobile phone if you use the app and stuff. So just like if you're going through a website on your phone, you can then share it to the app and it will upload it automatically and quickly for you. Last little thing I mentioned was about using this in terms of it as groups and stuff. And if I go back to my feed, one of the things you'll see is this beta section, so this new testing area where it says about managing contributors. So you can add people directly to your feed to contribute into this. This is in the beta phase, they are testing it, but it looks pretty good, looks very effective. You can do that via various different methods.
Overall, I find this a really effective and useful website. I think it works effectively in terms of combining information. Those of you who've been following my EGP learning work for the past while would have known that I've recommended other kind of things like magazine apps like Feedly or Flipboard to try and do this. But a lot of those things have taken away the function which allows you to export it into something you can then upload into your appraisal. Wakelet does that for you. Does it quickly, does it effectively, and really easily as well. This is a very basic website that you can use, and it's completely free. So from that perspective, I would really recommend this. This is one of my top tech tips for you guys to use in terms of trying to save yours and your patients' time with technology enhanced primary care and learning. Hope you guys have found that video useful. Let me know any comments, particularly if you think this would be useful in your network, group, practice, combination of people, because that's where I think this will really shine, as well as obviously for that individual use for you guys to use to record your learning and make appraisal a doddle.
So EGP learners, I hope you found that a really useful tool. As I said earlier, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, ring the bell as well to make sure you're notified first of all of our content, and please give us a comment. I'd love to know what you guys thought of this video and whether you thought this was an effective tool. Specifically answering that question, would you use this to share your learning with people in your group? I think it'll work really well. Love to know what you think. As always, you'll be able to find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn. Make sure you follow us on the channel that you prefer. And as always guys, keep tech enhancing your primary care and learning. Catch you in the next video.